Hey guys, Chef Wu Can here. I know it's been a while, so I have to apologize. But today, we're going to do a really simple dish today. I'm going to get back on track. We're going to make roast pork shrimp lo mein. Really easy, tastes great, and you'll really appreciate it. So watch me as I start to smash the garlic. Garlic with everything is always good. Okay, so basically we have a cleaver. It's one piece high carbon steel. All right, so you don't have to worry about hitting something and the handle falling off. Okay, so those that have a garlic presser, this is your new garlic presser. Take a piece of garlic, leave it flat on the chopping board, and just go bam, 1, 2, 3. Smack, 1, 2, 3. Smack, 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's it. That's your garlic presser. And chop it up, right? And then we'll set it aside. Okay. Now the sauces that we're going to use today are thin soy sauce, dark soy sauce, which is sort of like a caramel coloring, Shaoxing wine or white wine, oyster sauce, white pepper, a little olive oil. And to keep things spicy, our homemade crunchy garlic chili oil relish. The ingredients: we're going to use cabbage. We're going to use bean sprout. We're going to use roast pork. We have some shrimp here. And we chopped up some scallion. All right? So everything's been prepared ahead of time. So we're going to start up the wok. Obviously, I'm using a butane wok, so it may take a little longer, but hopefully not that much longer. So we're going to get the wok hot, and then we'll add the oil, and then we'll start adding the ingredients. Then we'll add the sauce. Then we'll add the roast pork, the bean sprout, the cabbage to cook it, and then we'll add the noodles last, and that will absorb all the flavor. Okay? All right, so the wok is getting heated. All right, so we'll drizzle some olive oil, about a half a teaspoon, about 2 tablespoons. Okay, we'll add the roast pork. We'll add the garlic. Now, the secret behind shrimp, whenever you cook shrimp, is you don't want to cook it that long. The problem is that we've been given shrimp that's been overcooked. And that's why a lot of people feel that they don't really like shrimp, because it's pretty much too rubbery. Well, with Chef Wu Can, we're going to add it basically in the last few stages of the cooking process. And basically, it's going to be really, really tender. You may not even realize it's cooked because you're not used to having really, truly cooked shrimp. So keep that in mind, all right? So we're just going to saute it a little bit. Get that garlic into the roast pork. The roast pork is homemade, all right? And just saute it a little bit. We'll add a little bit of Shaoxing wine. We'll add a little bit of white pepper and a little bit of oyster sauce. Okay. Now we'll just saute it a little bit. Now we'll take it out. All right. And now we'll add a little bit more oil. And now we'll add some shredded cabbage. This is about 1/4 of a cabbage, a small cabbage. Right? Now you'll notice that we didn't add the bean sprout. Bean sprout cooks very quickly. You don't want to add it early on, because ultimately, by the time you finish with the dish, the bean sprouts will be so wilted. That's not what you want. Well, cabbage, you have to stir fry it a little bit. Okay. we'll add about 2 tablespoons of Shaoxing wine. If you don't have Shaoxing wine, add a little bit of white wine. We'll add about a tablespoon of thin soy sauce. Keep on stir frying. You may want to add a little bit more oil. So really the main vegetable that we're concerned about will be the cabbage. The scallions will go in last. The bean sprouts will go in last. So all your work is really done in the prep work. Alright? So my rule is with vegetables you want to get an emerald green, but obviously cabbage won't give you that emerald green color. But we want it to be a nice green color. We want it to be crunchy, but you're not overdone and not underdone. Sort of like al dente. Okay? So we also got to keep in mind that we're going to toss in the noodles, so that will further cook everything. So now we'll add back the roast pork. Right? We'll toss it in. Maybe add a little bit more soy sauce. Another tablespoon of soy sauce. A little bit more Shaoxing wine. A little bit more of white pepper. And of course a little bit more oyster sauce. It may seem like a lot, but you have to understand that we're going to put in a whole package of noodles in. The noodles have already been cooked. It was bought already cooked. So basically we're just going to toss it in. And we're just going to keep on stir frying it. The noodles will absorb the flavor that we added. We may want to add a little bit of coloring. So we'll add a little bit of dark soy sauce, maybe a teaspoon. Alright? It's always important to taste it to give you some idea of what you may have to add. You may want to add a little bit more soy sauce. You may want to add a little bit more wine. That's really up to you. So we're going to taste a little bit. We'll get a strand. It's good. So it may be a little difficult to mesh all the ingredients with the noodles, but by just doing a circular motion and flipping it, it's all going to consolidate into one nice meal. The noodles are going to absorb it. It's going to be really delicious. Okay. Now, this is what you want. This is the consistency that you want. A nice combination of cabbage, the roast pork, right? Now we'll add the shrimp. The shrimp has been cut in half, right? We'll mix it together. The shrimp, once it turns a nice orangey color, then you know it's ready. Okay? And you can get this done in less than 5 minutes. Alright? Now, we'll add some bean sprout. Notice how white the bean sprout is. It's perfect. Just keep on tossing it. Alright? Now you control the amount of oil, obviously. You don't really need that much oil. We may want to add a little bit more soy sauce. This is thin soy sauce, remember. Okay. And then we'll add a combination, a little bit more Shaoxing wine. Okay. Move this away. Now remember, it's always a mess in the kitchen, right? But when you present it, it's going to be beautiful. Shrimp is cooking, the heat from the lo mein and the cabbage and the burner. Right? Add a little bit more oil. Now with the noodles, you'll notice that you might have to add a little bit more oil than the regular typical stir fry that involves non-noodles. All right? So it may look like a mess, but you know what? Sometimes the messier the dish, the more tastier it is. All right? I combine it pretty well together. The shrimp looks really good. I'll take the shrimp to show you. You see? Got the nice color. Perfect. Now, we'll add the scallion, the chopped up scallion. This is about 4 scallions chopped up. This will give it a nice presentation, but additional onion flavor rather than using a regular onion. So I use cabbage and bean sprout. You can use cabbage, bean sprout, and chopped up onions too. Okay? Alright. And that's it. We're done. We just made roast pork shrimp lo mein. Okay? Now, it doesn't look very appealing right now in the wok. Just a couple of more flips, and you're always continuously stir frying it. Notice you're not going to get it sticking to the pot. That's a good thing, all right? What counts is the presentation, all right? All right, shut it off. All right. And we're going to do a presentation. There you go. Roast pork, shrimp, lo mein, homemade style. Now the best part of this is obviously tasting. So we'll grab a little bit of roast pork with scallion and bean sprout. Get some noodles. It's delicious. Perfect. You can do this yourself. You go to H Mart, you go to a Great Wall. We have one in Maryland. Buy the noodles, yellow noodles that are already cooked. Get roast pork, if they sell it, hanging in the shop. Get a cabbage, regular cabbage. Get a bag of bean sprout. Notice how white those bean sprouts were. If you want to add an onion, you can add an onion. You could add broccoli. You could add lettuce, right? Add shrimp, even pork or chicken. Prepare it all in advance, and then basically follow my way in terms of how do you start methodically in terms of getting that garlic flavor in the oil. Don't let it burn. Then adding the roast pork to mesh with the flavors. Then add the cabbage to cook it a little bit. Don't overcook it because you have to remember you're going to be cooking it further. And then add the noodles and add everything together. And then just keep on stir frying. Nothing will stick. If you have to add a little bit more olive oil, add a little bit more olive oil. It's not that bad, okay? You're not having noodles every night, all right? And then adjust the flavors. Add the soy sauce. Add a little bit more if you want. Add a little bit more oyster sauce. Now I have the crunchy chili oil that I made, homemade, right? Let me add it to this. So if you want nice and spicy, you get it. So thank you for watching. If you like this video and you want to see other videos, please press the subscribe button and you'll be notified of the next video that I make. Also, check out my website, chefwucan.com. Check me on Etsy under Creations by Wu. And I have an assortment of things that you can watch, read, enjoy, and I hope you do. And I will be coming up with another video very soon. I took a little break, so I know I've lost a lot of you guys, but hopefully you're faithful and you'll come back. All right, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And as I say, aloha. Bye-bye.